Villainous by It's_Kingston on AO3. Episode 13. Chapter 10. Suit. What? Did you finally realize how deep you're in? Toga grinned. She reminded Ochako of the Cheshire cat, with her eyes illuminated by the rising sun and fangs gleaming. Ochako gulped. How was she supposed to react to someone telling her that they thought killing people were fine if they deserved it? What was the opposite of what heroes were supposed to do? And that's what she thought innocent lives being extinguished was. Honest. And so pretty? It often seemed to slip her mind that she was dealing with a serial murderer. Toga wasn't a friend or an ally, and never would be. She was the enemy. You don't have to answer that, little hero. Toga shrugged it off, not seeming to be affected by Ochako's sudden urge to distance herself from the villain. The blonde yawned, fangs making their appearance again. Ochako wondered if there was ever a time she tried to hide them, despite them being so prominent. Sorry for keeping you awake. Ochako still felt the need to apologize to Toga, despite her mixed feelings about the girl. It's fine, not like you're getting any sleep either, Toga joked, standing up from the bed. If I don't go now, I'll pass out in your room. That'll be awkward. The blonde seemed to blush lightly. Just move on from your old dead lady. She doesn't matter. She's dead. Toga headed to the balcony. Thanks, Ochako mumbled, following behind Toga. Bye. See you later. Toga gave her one last smile before jumping back into the sprawn branches of an oak tree, quietly maneuvering her way down. Ochako watched, making sure she got over the gate safely. She continued to watch, even after the villain had long since been out of sight. There was something about her that made her incredibly hard to detest. Ochako knew she could have hated Toga and everything she stood for, but she couldn't quite. Of course, she didn't condone Toga's actions. Far from it. She was traumatized from them. But that didn't stop the villain from being herself, and there was something admirable about someone who could be themselves without much thought. Ochako silently looked up to Toga in that way, and wished she possessed the same skill. Ochako woke in yet another cold sweat. She couldn't remember her dream, but she knew it wasn't good. Try as she may to take the blonde's advice, she couldn't rid her mind of the woman's face. Pale skin, unfocused eyes, blood dripping. The hero sighed and got out of bed, checking her clock as she did so. 1:52 p.m. Well, she didn't go to bed until 6 a.m., so it made sense. She'd gotten a text on the burner phone, and 5 missed calls on her personal one since she'd fallen asleep. The text was from Toga, letting Ochako know she'll be waiting at the park at 8 p.m., almost 6 hours from now. She stared at the missing calls, hoping nothing bad had happened. 2 were from Sue, 2 more from Mina, and a final one from Izuku. They all tried to contact her that morning, each around 11 a.m. The last thing Ochako wanted to do was talk to Izuku, not because she suddenly disliked him, but because he had appeared in her dreams. He'd insulted her, and brought up points her subconscious had been trying to put to light. Honestly, she didn't feel like talking to any of her friends, but it was important to. Maybe it would make her feel normal again, or at the very least, pass some time. Ring, 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 ring. Sue picked up the FaceTime almost instantly. Ochako, are you alright? Sue looked nervously on the screen, her expression relaxing a bit, after visibly confirming her friend was okay. Yeah, I'm fine. The Gravity Hero smiled. I just slept in really late. I just woke up. Sorry. It's alright. We all tried to call you. We were worried when you didn't pick up. Sue seemed to be in a crowded food court, based on the loud talking and advertisements for different meals behind her. I know. I saw. Tell Mina and Izuku that I'm alright. I just wanted to catch up on some sleep. Hey, what are you guys up to? Getting lunch? Yeah. Sue shot a concerned glance at the screen and lowered her voice to a whisper. They serve frog legs here. Ochako bursted out laughing, not expecting such a joke from her friend. I'm sorry. The hero got out between her giggles. That's just really ironic. Tell me about it. Sue laughed too. Hey, we all wanted to know what made you stay behind for the field trip. You seemed excited to come along, or was that because a certain green-haired boy wanted to? Although Ochako would normally blush at such an accusation, she didn't. It was strange, really. Other than his caring nature and gentle features, she wasn't quite sure why he liked him so much. He was kind, that was a given. He'd always give something his all. And he was good with computers, learning to program from some unnamed project. He was determined to get things done and was really self-sacrificing. Well, that was a flaw. He was always making sure everyone worried over him, always putting himself in danger, and costing Ochako sleepless nights. If she was being honest, Toga had the same kind of determination and pride in herself that Izuku did. Wait, that's a stupid thing to think. Izuku's a hero, he's kind, he saves people. Toga just kills them and hurts everyone. It's a different kind of mental strength. Ochako reasoned, inwardly fighting with her own initial reaction as she tried to come up with an answer for Sue. I guess I did want to come along because Izuku was excited, but I felt it would be better to stay back here and focus on myself for a little. And also, I forgot what day you guys left on. By the time I woke up, you were all gone. Ochako finally said. She laughed awkwardly and rubbed the back of her neck. Sue sighed and shook her head, before looking back up and giving the Gravity Hero a smile. It is good to take the initiative and look out for yourself for once. Ochako hummed in agreement, despite the fact that she only now come up with that excuse. The real reason, of course, was that she forgot the day, and to stay back and investigate the league. I'll call you back later, but we're going on another tour now. This time it's aquatic heroes and villains throughout the ages. I'm excited to see how they've adapted. Sue smiled, clearly excited, before looking in the direction of who Ochako assumed to be Mina, or another friend. Maybe another aquatic one? Call tomorrow, or before 8 p.m. tonight? Ochako suggested. Hopefully she wasn't suspicious. I made plans with an old friend that I ran into yesterday. We're hanging out tonight. Sue nodded understandingly. If I don't call you by then I'll do it tomorrow around lunch. Thanks, Sue. You're the best. The other girl chuckled. I know. Bye, Ochako. Bye. Ochako hung up the phone and placed it face down on her desk. She leaned back and sighed, stretching her arms above her head. It was 2:15 p.m. What was she going to do for the next 6 hours? Her stomach growled violently. It'd been almost 19 hours since she'd eaten anything. Maybe that had to do with why she felt so off this morning. Afternoon. Making her way to the kitchen, Ochako pondered over her earlier question. She could just sit around all day and watch television, or go out somewhere. She had $500 and nothing to do. She could walk around the mall, maybe get an ice cream. That all came later, though. Now, it was time to eat. Sue had just put her phone down. She was nodding at a classmate who was speaking to her, but wasn't listening. Ochako had been acting strange. It was little things, like how she stayed behind from the trip and didn't seem to fumble her words when talking about Izuku. The latter seemed like such a little detail, but to Sue, Ochako's best friend, it seemed important. Has she moved on for the boy? Or was something bothering Ochako? Distracting her? Sue shook her head. Ochako would let her know if anything was happening. Silently vowing to call her later and ask if something was wrong, Sue cleared her head best as she could and cleaned up her tray. She just had to trust her best friend. Okay, I think we're starting to see signs of crush. The simple fact that Ochako compared Izuku and Toga together with like their mental capabilities and stuff like that, mental strength. Ochako, sweetie, I'm gonna hold your hand while we say this. Also, it's Kingston. I saw what you said about how it is a very, very angsty fic. And all I have to say to that is, what? I mean, like, I knew it was gonna be angsty. Do not get me wrong. I'm not gonna nitpick because it's like angst upon angst. I think so far you're doing really good at pacing the thing and setting up for the angst. We could see the setup. I could see the build-up towards what I would quote-unquote think is a traditional angst and this sort of double agent kind of trope, which would be the eventual reveal that Ochako is doing this as a secret agent, as a spy. She doesn't actually, transition to the villainy side, right? And with that comes all the angst of that. And if that's like the big angst, trust me, you're setting everything up. I mean, I think it would be not like a bad story if it didn't have the angst. It's just like, come on, double agent, you have to have the whole, was your feelings fake? Was this whole thing fake? Were you playing with my feelings kind of moment? We gotta have that. We gotta play around with that, right? We gotta play around with that. It's like found family without the shopping trip. I'm sorry, but you cannot have found family without the shopping trip. You cannot have Izuku be adopted by Eraser Mike without having the Eraser Mike and Izuku shopping trip. All right? Even if it's online or physical, the shopping trip. I live for the shopping trip. Anyways, as always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.